There he is.
Hey.
Drop of a hat. Drop of a hat, he gets it done. That's why you were the strong
pure
member
luck.
of the
Pure luck, but yeah.
Pure luck?
No, there's no such thing. Luck's for losers, brother. That's why you were the strong member of the team. That's why you were the one.
To this day.
Yeah. And that's why Ryder liked Kristen and you liked me.
It's his favorite wrestler of all time. Which it took a while for him to confess that to you, right?
Yeah, he did, but
I think it was like
I think I always knew.
Post head run, I think you finally learned that information.
Yeah, well, he's he was always super weird around me, even weirder than he normally is, and that's how I knew that I was something special to him, because he was his super weirdness.
I remember when you came in from from TNA, he was very excited because then we finally get to meet you and stuff.
Remember when I met you guys at that party, and I was still in TNA? And
oh my God, you're right, at Batista's party, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh man, I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was so awkward and nervous to meet you.
And see, if I had known that, would have booted him right out of La Familia. He would have been gone immediately.
His list of favorite wrestlers of all time are quite strange. So Jay's the best of the bunch, but Jay's number one. But he's lumped into that group of guys.
Yeah. Well, how come you liked Adam better than me? What was the deal there?
Well, taste.
Oh man, put me on the spot with that. I don't know. I mean,
just remember before you answer. Just remember who's helping you out in a month.
Yeah,
before you answer.
Pro Wrestling, January 20th.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great.
Yeah, get that plug in.
And now, truth be told, I wanted to, but I happen to be in Ireland, and that's a difficult commute.
Well, we'll get it done one of these days.
We will. But yeah, so what do you got going on? First, before we get into the Edgeheads reunion, which is 10 years coming up, and you explained to everyone how that all shook out, and tell us what you got going on up there.
What I got going on? I'm a new father, so
yes,
I'm off today.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. My wife works, so when I'm home, I'm really not. I basically have no days off because daddy daycare is on.
Yeah.
Completely when I'm
it's a
home,
real thing.
so I'm just always taking care of my daughter, still running errands, trying to do things like that. So it's quite hectic. And then I'm also, you guys know how it is. Your time at home is only so much, so I'm getting ready to leave this weekend for a full loop of Raw live events and TVs and stuff. So I leave Friday for Manchester, New Hampshire.
And then you have the two of us calling you, like cold calling you, while you're trying to do all of this stuff, like complete assholes.
Well, I just drove from my house to my mom's house to have her watch my kid for an hour so I can get a haircut, and then just to drive back. So that's why you caught me at a good time, because she fell asleep in the back, and I got time to drive.
Oh, see.
Yeah, you got. That's the thing too, right? Like,
pure luck.
It's funny how kids that age only sleep in cars. Like with my daughter, I had to at night. That's the only way I get her to sleep is to drive her around for an hour or two.
Oh, I've heard from other parents that that's like a thing.
Oh.
I'm hoping not. I'm hoping not to get to that point, but I know that's a thing.
It's a real thing, yeah.
Well, especially in New York, that's going to be some driving up there.
You live in Florida, so it's always nice weather. Like to go outside, and like I can't it's freezing here today in New York. Like I can't be going outside with my daughter all the time and putting her in the house.
That's like when we were in Syracuse, it was a process.
I'll be in Syracuse this weekend. Another plug for the Raw brand.
Oh, yeah. Well, but so Create a Pro. Tell us what's going on. You said January 20th? Yeah,
January 20th. We have a show, which former WWE superstar Christian will be there, appearing live. And we also, on this particular show, we've partnered with Make-A-Wish Foundation. We're very excited about it. We've secured our biggest venue yet, so a lot going on. The show will be about, I'd say 75% of the guys performing on the event will be people that myself and Pat Buck have trained from scratch in Long Island, New York at our school, Create a Pro.
Does this mean I have to do a bunch of retraining while I'm there? I'm looking forward to doing the autographs. Does this mean I have to retrain a bunch of people?
It's going to be awesome. So I put your pretty face on the poster to hope to draw the house. People meet Christian and then stay and enjoy the wrestling.
Cool.
So, and fill everybody in. that doesn't know about Create a Pro, when you started it, how it's doing and everything, and how much you like it.
Actually, it came out of very selfish reasons and kind of frustration. I was still with the WWE the first time, and I wasn't being booked very often, and I was sitting home a lot. And my biggest fear, even though I don't blow up as a wrestler, but I was very scared that they would just cold call me to be on a weekend and haven't wrestled in 3 months, and you guys know as fellow wrestlers that's real tough to do. So I was driving to schools all over, at least once a week, just trying to get a workout in and stuff and teaching. And then my good friend Pat Buck, he's been all over the place, man. He was in OVW and he's trained at Rip Rogers, and he was in FCW for a period as well. He had a school in Jersey I was driving to. At least, if no traffic, it would be an hour there and back. So out of frustration, eating dinner one night after a workout, he said, "Hey, man, you should open a school. I'll do it with you." And I said, "I'm serious. I'll do it now, just to, have a place for me to work out." And then it kind of spiraled into, like I said, it was a very selfish choice at first, but then the satisfaction of being a coach and teaching others and seeing them develop and grow as performers has really been so satisfying, and something that kind of snuck up on me that I'm just so proud of.
Yeah, and I think too that did you take pieces of your experiences along the way, as well as the things that you learned when you were training, and kind of made your own style, or what is your kind of style of training, if there is a different one?
So that's real interesting. So I learned from so many people in the WWE, being there for over 10 years, and watching you every night at ringside for a year straight. I've had some invaluable learning lessons. I'd say a lot of what I use as a teacher comes from what I got out of training with Dr. Tom, I think, for the majority. I mean, I've learned from, I don't even have time to name how many people have, influenced me, and I've done seminars with, and, the incredible producers that we have at WWE and things throughout the years. But I think a lot of what I use as a straight-up coach comes from my time with Dr. Tom and Deep South Wrestling, and then eventually FCW, Florida Championship Wrestling. So I'd give him the credit for that.
And what's great about that and hearing that is Dr. Tom was one of the coaches of the Funkin' Dojo when I first got called up for them to take a look at me for WWF. And it was Dory Funk and it was Dr. Tom. Yeah, so Dr. Tom is the glue that connects our stories. How about that?
I've never thought of that till right now.
Me neither, which is pretty cool. And shout out to Dr. Tom, because he is awesome. Okay, so it's been 10 years, like you mentioned. The anniversary of the Edgeheads.
Yep.
And just to clarify for everybody, because I've told this story before, but let's hear it from the horse's mouth.
The horse face's mouth. The
horse face's mouth.
Yeah.
How it all came.
Jay might have to explain that one later on too, but anyway, keep going.
But before the Birdman interrupts me again with his little stork legs, tell me how it all came about. And just explain it like you're not explaining it to me, because I already know.
From my recollection, how this all went down.
Yes.
Okay. So we were called up in May of 2007 as Brian and Brett Majors, the Major Brothers, on the ECW side. From what I was told after Dusty, who was writing ECW at the time, he thought that Zach and I reminded him of the Mulkey brothers.
Really?
And he thought, just a straight up, I don't know, green, baby face, kind of generic 80s-ish tag team. And that's kind of what we were given, that's kind of what we were putting out there.
Right,
so,
yeah.
we're only about 22 at this point, too, keep in mind. So we get called up, we get Do Nothing, we get switched to SmackDown, we have, we had a stinker with Chavo and Noble, and then we had I remember we had a squash match with Locals. We had a squash match with Locals as baby faces, and they gave us like 8 minutes or something like that, and we were just thinking, like, we were green, but we knew, oh no, that's like, how do you hang with locals and we're supposed to look strong for 8 minutes? We were like, this is ridiculous. And we went home like super early.
Here's the answer. You don't.
Yeah. So that's what people were telling us. We went home like really early and got screamed at in Gorilla by Jerry Briscoe because there's so much time left. And I was like, I don't know what to do. So things were not going well. So we did those things, and we were going to TVs and doing live events, but never, ever on TVs. And I was thinking about this. I haven't thought about this in a long time, but because I knew we were going to do this interview, it's actually Tommy.
Tommy.
He's the one who hired us, actually, but I didn't know him as well as I know him now. And there was one day in that fall of '07, amongst us doing nothing, where he basically said, I think they're going to fire you guys because you don't do anything, or break you up or something. But so he was very paranoid about it, and made us very paranoid about it. But knowing him now, he's just kind of leans on the paranoid side of things, where I'm not. So, but he made us all, Zach and I, very paranoid about, oh shit, like Jesus Christ, we're 22, we just got called up, and we're not even going to get 6 months out of this and be done with. So at the time, we were still living in Louisville and reporting to OVW. We had basically kind of like what I'm doing now, no days off. We would land from the road, do whatever we were doing, and go straight to OVW class and practice and pay-per-view and do whatever live events there that were going on. And we had a day coming up, which I guess they don't do anymore, but back in my days of being developmental, they'd have days where the entire writing team would come and kind of watch you guys. Well, we'd put on a show for just them, basically. Everyone would cut a promo,
okay,
and then wrestle a match, an entire card just for the writing team. So you're in front of 10, 12 people tops. So one of those days was coming up, and we had already been on the road for whatever it was, 6 months as the majors. So the day before, we saw Michael Hayes at TV, and we said, hey, what do you want us to do? We're already up here as the majors, and we have to do this tomorrow. He's like, well, show me something different. How about that? And we're like, holy shit, what the fuck? What are we going to do? So we had batted around this idea that Zach and I were legit Edge fans, and we wanted to be somehow associated with him and be his lackeys or something like that. So, and we were watching a lot of Entourage at the time.
And I wasn't there at the time, so I wasn't there at the time, so I was he who shall not be named.
No, that was our fallout plan, to jump to TNA and be the Christian heads. So, oddly enough, we kind of on the way that day at TV, we were like, why don't we just try that Edge thing for Hayes? Who cares? We'll work his heels. They'd never seen that, and we're like, whatever. What do we got to lose? Absolutely nothing. So we grabbed some. Well, sadly, we had a lot of Edge merch at home, but then we grabbed even more from the merch guys on our way out of TV, and we cut a funny promo that we pretended that Edge had called in. We had our cell phones, and we were taking orders from him and stuff, and we were acting as if we were running around doing errands for Adam and stuff, which they got a kick out of. And then we worked his heels in Edge kind of gear and stuff. And so that put it in creative's head. So, and Michael Hayes said something maybe on the way out, you guys impressed me today. I didn't know you had that in you. And so we're like, okay, cool. Then we get to TV and we see him again, the following week, and we're like, oh, what's going on with the Edge thing? He goes, yeah, I can't just put you with Edge because you want to be with Edge. How would you do it? And we're like, okay, now we're back to square one here. And then, shit. So, and
here we go.
Just come back from injury recently. So, and the pay-per-view was coming up in December, that Armageddon, correct, Adam, right? Armageddon 2007?
Yeah, in Pittsburgh, yeah.
So we're like, okay, let's write a scenario where we get involved in this triple threat match and help him win the title. So we wrote it up, sent it to Hayes, who said he liked it or whatever, but he's not going to, the two lowest guys in the totem pole sent him an idea. Doesn't mean he's going to do it, And someone might have said, you probably should try to get Adam's blessing on this thing or it's going to go nowhere. I went, okay, you're right. And I think at the time we've only had, a handful of, small talk conversations, hellos and goodbyes. That's about it at the locker room. So I pulled you aside and said, hey, my partner and I have this idea where we would be your lackeys. Can I just have your email? And I'll send you, I wrote it up just if you have the time, please, read it and let us know what you think or whatever. So I got Adam's email and then sent over to him, and that's where things really took a turn because I believe he dug it. He got what we were trying to accomplish with the whole thing. And then the other funny thing leading up to the actual debut that I remember that I definitely just want to say is you brought like a bunch of extra tights to TV because Michael Hayes wanted to see us in the edge stuff to see if we really looked passable, like kind of doppelgangers. So like we were changing in some secret locker room, like he passed it off to us and the three of us were putting it all on or whatever. And then we're waiting to see Hayes and maybe Vince. I can't remember. But the funny part that I remember about the whole thing is the most random person ever, Funaki, walked by and saw us. Like, oh! When he saw us all dressed up. And then I thought, okay, maybe we're onto something. That reaction was pretty funny. Like he was acting like, oh, what a perfect fit,
Yeah. Oh, Funaki always plays into our story at some point. Yeah, that's why we included him on the TV show too. So here's my side of it, and I remember liking you guys because you reminded me of me and Jay, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll look at what these guys they're plugging away, they're trying, and I remember Michael had broached the subject with me. And I was like, "Wow, okay, that's interesting." And then you came up. I want to say it was like maybe a month before the pay-per-view, maybe even less. Got me
we were
email,
on
sent me the email, and
time to get it done.
Yeah, I remember it was quick, and I got the email, and I remember sitting down and reading it. I was like, "Damn, this is really good," and good on them for taking this and like giving it a shot. Like that takes a set. To
well, like you had
try.
said before, you weren't just pitching it to a guy that was on the card. You were pitching it to the top guy on the card, the champion, the world champion, and who's in the top storyline with Vicky Guerrero at the time, who is super hot heel, and but you guys took a swing, and that's what it's all about. Some guys, the chances are zero if you don't take the swing.
Here's the swing they took. They took a swing to get involved in a triple threat with me, Batista, and The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Like, you think about that.
Yeah.
that's a hell of a
never
swing.
Being on a pay-per-view ever to pitching to be a part of the main event of the next one.
And causing the finish of that pay-per-view and that main event and switching the world title. And I remember the makeup crew having to paint on the tattoos on you guys. I think eventually we got stencils and then just gave up on it because
but we never got to use them because we only did the tattoos at Armageddon and we did it the following SmackDown.
Okay.
And then we never did tattoos again. But the stencils weren't ready for when they were supposed to be. So a lot of people don't know this. Those were straight up Sharpie, like black Sharpie, free-handed, and paint. And then it was never discussed to be dressed like you forever. It was just for that one, screw job to win the title. And then we showed up, we had Monday off, and we showed up Tuesday in Rochester, and they were like, "Oh, you guys still have the tattoos?" We're like, "No, we spent hours scrubbing this Sharpie off our bodies. Like, he's barely standing." And we're like, fake tanned and ready for TV. And they're like, "Oh, Vince wants them back on." Like, great. So like it was Richie from Magic and maybe Julie Youngberg, I think. They were not thrilled because it was a lot of work.
Yeah, and that's also like you guys. How quick did you have to come up with the new monikers as well? Because you guys were like Barry and Bobby Major or something like that. And then all of a sudden you're like
Brian and
Barry
Major.
Oh yeah, that's it.
What a dick.
I just told somebody that story recently. That was bizarre too. I don't know what your recollection of that is, Adam, but
I remember helping out, and I think we used Taylor Hawkins as a template, right?
Yes, but that was like way later in the day. So we get there, we get blindsided by the whole tattoo thing. Like, hey, you need these tattoos back on. Then someone said, "Oh, Vince found out you're not really brothers, and he didn't like that. He wants you guys to have two separate names." So we're like, "Oh, wow, okay." But, that's like a major career thing to just be blindsided, and they're like, "And you need to get them now because it's got to be on the show tonight and clear legal and this thing, you know, I'm like, this and that. So we're like, wow, that's a big thing to just kind of get hit with when you're not expecting it. So we're sitting there brainstorming, and we run into Johnny Ace, and he goes, oh, yeah, you're with Edge now, so you need cool names like Flash and Dagger, you know, something like that. And we're like, whoa. So we were not ready for that at all, like, even more so. Like, we're already scrambling to come up with his names. We're like, holy cow. So at one point, we were going to be Kiedis and Cobain after Anthony Kiedis and Kurt Cobain, just because we're like, well, you know, Edge is a rock star, you know, and we were pitching that. And then when we found Michael Hayes, this is like late in the day, we found Michael Hayes this. He goes, I don't think that's what was said. I think you just need to have two names that aren't the same. He's like, let's go see Vince to clarify. So we like went into Vince's office and said, what do you want? He goes, no, I just want two real sounding, believable names. We're like, oh, okay. And then I pulled Kurt from Kurt Hennig, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time.
Hennig,
and I think the one thing I ever told Adam and before this whole deal went down is that he always looked like Taylor Hawkins to me from the Foo Fighters. So that's where that came from.
Which also happened to be Adam's favorite band, so it all tied in.
I don't think I even knew that at the time. Yeah, so very odd. And Zach is from Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, which is awesome in its own right.
Yeah, and I really don't know what the RYDER's from. I don't. Maybe I think that is the kid from Boy Meets World, Ryder Strong or whatever. I think maybe it might be something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, if he had answered his phone, he could very well be telling us right now.
He would have been involved in telling us. Now,
he just straight up kayfabed you boys? I didn't know that.
We scrambled. Well, we scrambled and we figured, okay, we're going to try and get both of them. We got the studio now, so we'll do it. And he answered the phone and was like, hello, hello, hello. And then he hung up, and then we called again, and he didn't answer. Yeah. So we know that he kayfabed this random number, and now he's never going to get on the show. And he's been whining and complaining about trying to get on the show. We were going to have you both on and also try and rib Jay. Yeah. So now the rib's totally on him. Yeah. So he's never going to get on the show. You get on the show by yourself. You don't have to share it with that glory hound.
What a development.
And it's the 10-year anniversary of the Edgeheads. Yeah, this is huge.
And his girlfriend tried to help me, basically ambush him to get him on. And
really?
He and then the second time we called back, he thought he was getting prank called, so he didn't answer the phone.
Yeah. So he's going to hear this, and he's going to be weeping tears, and his Just for Men beard is going to run, and
Oh, no.
It's all you, buddy.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. You're
So, for everyone, for all the hosters listening, we tried to coordinate an Edgehead reunion to commemorate the 10 years ago that you guys debuted as Hawkins and RYDER. And then we were going to blindside Jay by having RYDER do a run-in, and then it got all discombobulated, and now RYDER's never going to be on the show.
Nope. He lost his chance. You know, you're getting a big league us. We can't rocket strap him if he doesn't let us strap him, you know?
Truth be told, it's not really his fault, but that doesn't matter. He's still never going to be on the show.
Right. He's probably buying a $30,000 action figure on eBay.
That's a very good chance as well. These days. He's lost his mind.
He does not own a $30,000 What is his most expensive action?
Adam, you're not smart to any of this stuff?
I'm somewhat smart to it, but I don't. Is there such thing as a $30,000 action figure?
Technically, they're prototypes is what he's been buying. So they're one of one, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I've had the LJ on Sergeant Slaughter conversation with him before, and that was eye opening. And I then decided that I needed to have
to what he's
the
doing
LJ
these
Sarge,
days, because he's real obsessed with the Hasbros. Like you guys are probably too old to play with Hasbros, right?
No, I had a few. I think I had like the Rockers and Demolition.
Okay. It's like I can't remember LJNs in the store, but I remember like Hasbro Series 1, like big time.
Yeah. Yeah, LJN was like our era.
Yeah,
we were kids. But
anyway, he's been buying one-of-one, like hand-painted prototypes and spending way too much money on these things.
It's his retirement fund. He's gonna have all these action figures to show for his long career. But the getting back to the Edgehead stuff, you said you debuted in the Triple Threat at Armageddon. And then next thing you know, you basically parlayed into a big WrestleMania appearance as well down the road.
Yeah.
I mean, that had to be, and those long runways and running down on those things, like hitting your time, like all that sort of thing. Like that's pretty nerve-wracking stuff, especially in a main match.
Yeah, I get. It's like you said, we were dumb and young enough to pitch it in the first place. We weren't thinking like, I don't know, long term that WrestleMania is. We hadn't even been to a WrestleMania ever, not even just there to do nothing. So to see that, to see that on the horizon, we weren't thinking like that. We were just trying to, like I said, Dreamers scared the piss out of us that we were like they'd given up on us completely already. So we were just grasping at straws. We weren't even thinking what the long term effects could be of this thing. But I mean, it led to being a part of the main event at WrestleMania, which is like unreal. 22 years old running down that ramp. It seemed like never ending. I had a partially torn PCL too, so I'm like nervous and beyond nervous because I don't want to fall and be that guy. And I remember just kind of begging Zach to like, he's not much of an athlete anyway. Let's not get too crazy here. But I remember being like, please don't go full speed because I cannot go full speed. So like, we'll look like we're trying, but I can't give it like, because I was like, I don't know if you guys ever messed up your PCL. It's weird. You just kind of like fall down sometimes, like you don't know when it's coming. So that was like so nerve wracking. But at the end of the day, it's just something nobody could ever take away from us. And I still think, I say this all the time, that Adam and Taker's match tonight is, I think, one of the greatest matches in WrestleMania history, and it doesn't get its due credit. I think down the line, when it's got some more time on it, people reflect, and it will live on in that way. But it was just something so incredible to be a part of.
Well, I remember, talking with Taker and, putting stuff together and everything, and he didn't know you guys from Adam initially. And what was cool about it is that as the story progressed, because that was our first singles match on a pay-per-view, was at WrestleMania, and you guys are pretty pivotal in taking some cool bumps and being part of the finishing sequence of the match. That was really, I think, where you guys like kind of earned your keep with him, because you were there, you were on time, you took incredible bumps, and then from going forward from there, I mean, you guys were bump machines for him. Like, I remember this choke slam off of the corner to the outside through a table at the TLC match, and you guys were just, really, you were earning your keep.
I think a lot of that is just because we're just so, obviously, just we both, Zach and I have just been ridiculously in love with pro wrestling our whole lives. But then, like, there's two of us with the same mindset, and like, I don't think either one of us want to be like, well, that one's better than that one. So like every night, wherever we are and we're taking double choke slams, like, I'm going to be higher than you in this choke slam, try to beat me if you can. Like, it was things like that. that bled into like, just like you said, absolutely just bumping our ass off for Undertaker every night of the week. And it's an invaluable learning experience. And I remember, we did what we did leading up to it, and we'd, done things with them to the point where you guys were, I don't know if I'm going too detailed here, but you guys are sitting there and the secret meeting, just you guys and Michael Hayes putting together what is going to be the match. And we're scared shitless to say a word. And I remember him saying, hey, you guys, speak up. You got ideas. I want to hear it. Like, we were like, holy shit. This is Undertaker saying that, we've earned his trust enough in that regard, which is just something, I'll never forget.
Yeah. Talk about, sitting under the learning tree, right? I mean, going from, where you were to, sitting in a room and watching guys put together a main event WrestleMania match. I mean, that's, you don't, I mean, that is like experience and knowledge that very, very few people get.
Just such a privilege. And I've told Adam this a million times, and when people question, how I'm a wrestling coach or whatever, I'm like, I sat, ringside and watched who I believe was the best wrestler in the business be a champion and a top guy night in, night out, every night of the week, across the country, all across the world. I had the most firsthand, unbelievable learning experience. And it wasn't like, I mean, we were there for everything. We were sitting in on everything, and Adam encouraged it. And it really, between that and, on the undercard, we're tagging against Fit Finley and somebody, basically, is what we did for almost that whole year. So, we're wrestling Fifth Finley, getting first-hand knowledge, and then sitting there watching, like I said, the best wrestler in the business do his business night in, night out. I just don't think anyone's ever going to have an education like that again in the business. It's just something that really shaped my entire career, and I'm just forever blessed to be a part of something so cool.
Well, I remember, going back to you sending me the email and everything, that really impressed me. And but then once I really got to know you guys and really started working with you and really like connecting with you guys, it became I was Uncle Adam, and I really looked at you guys as my kids, and I called you that. They're my kids, and just getting the chance to watch you guys like work Kane and Rey Mysterio, and then get involved in whatever Taker and I were doing at the end. It was fun for me to see that progress, and it was fun for me to see you guys win the tag team titles, and show some of what you guys could do. I still think it didn't get tapped into the way I wanted it to get tapped into, because I really wanted you guys to go and do your own thing and do the tag team thing, still be part of the whole unit. And, we did have like a year-long run where you guys were involved in everything. And if there was a promo, you guys were there. And if there was, you guys were involved. But I still saw it in my mind as more.
Well, I guess there kind of was. I mean, you guys went, like you said, just Tommy Dreamer telling you that, hey, the company's almost kind of given up on you guys at this point. And then you go on and you actually become tag champs. So in some sense, that was the case, correct?
Yeah, for sure. I think a big part that we haven't really touched on is that the three of us kind of clicked in a funny kind of way where we're all buddies and stuff. Like you said, I think you got a kick out of us, and we were just so thrilled to be socializing with you and learning from you and help out in any which way we could. So that whole thing made it really work as well.
Do you remember the one night that I think it was like Oklahoma or something, and Ryder said, "Don't worry, he was going to take care of, like, we were going to ride together." Do you remember that?
Oh, that's the only time you got mad at
us. It was the only time I was like, hey, well, I'll let you explain the story.
Well, the other really funny part of this story is that I think I'm almost positive it's the same night you lose the belt to Punk, because we had to go to Raw, and that's why we didn't normally ride together, but we all had to go to that TV just to do that, and then go to SmackDown.
And you want to know why? You want to know why too? Is because I had to film the Slim Jim commercial in Dallas, so they had a car take me from Dallas to lose the title to Punk for the Money in the Bank, so I didn't have a rental car.
Okay, so. Yeah. Well, what's even more funny is that so you do the match with Punk or whatever you want to call it, drop the belt, and then there's like a backstage we did where you're screaming at us to load the car and drive. I think you smack ZACK in the face or something, and we drive off for the TV show. But so you're all mad at us, and we drive off, and then we did it in real life later in the night, which is too funny. But I think that's just Broski totally those original GPSs that hung on the mirror, and he's a real bad texting driver, and I think he missed a couple turns and shit like that, and it was late at night.
He drives super slow too, he's very almost like he's terrified behind the wheel.
Yeah, but he's multitasking and driving really slow, so it's it's brutal.
Oh, very safe.
But yeah, that was the only time Adam got hot at us, for sure.
Yeah, I think that was the only time. Other than that, it was I just remember, trying to explain to you guys the reason I would do something, and you guys were always very, asking me questions, and I love that.
Mm-hmm. I actually remember Batista early on, you were working him, maybe our first live event loop doing the gimmick, and he was like, "Hey, when we put this match together, be there. It's not like you're eavesdropping. I want you in there. You need to know." And it was to know what we were doing that night, and also obviously learn, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah, Dave's another guy, very, very giving, and wanted to help people, and I think he, because I explained to all those guys how it all kind of came about. So I think, when you got one of the guys who's in that mix explaining to them, hey, these kids are cool. This is what they did to get in this position. I think
do you remember how, I don't know, Shawn Michaels was so terrified to work with us. Like, I don't know why. He knew nothing about us, and you had to, like, tell him, like, Shawn, these guys are, like, the biggest marks for you that ever lived. Like, you're going to be okay.
Well, so let's talk about that as a moment, too. We ended up, the four of us, the three of us with Chavo, working Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels in a steel cage in Chicago.
Yeah. Unreal.
Think about that, man.
Yeah, I think about that. I still think about that often. Not every day, but at least once every 6 months, I think about that kind. I feel like.
Well, like that's a one-off. Like Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair teaming in a steel cage in like the hottest wrestling town, arguably, in the world, and
which is probably my first time in Chicago, and that's become my absolute favorite place to wrestle. So it's pretty nuts, mind blowing.
Yeah, there was a lot of really cool moments, whether it was, the getting involved in the TLC and we get Taker banished, and it was a good time. It was a good time. I really
the wedding episode, which is like, I don't know if that's ever happened. Like, we were in every seg of an entire SmackDown.
Yeah, that's
something like that.
One of those things too. I think it was like a 2-hour show, and we were on air for like an hour and 20 minutes or something.
Yeah, like when else does something like that happen? It's a really cool. I can't say enough good things about the experience and what it did to. It's just impacted the whole rest of my career, just as far as the worker that I would become.
Well, and I know anytime I get back, where it's like picking up wherever we left off. And did you know, young Birdman over there picking your feet?
Yeah.
That. Young Brian, Curt Hawkins made it to my 40th birthday party down here in Asheville.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
He did. Yeah. I couldn't make it.
Because imagine that, huh?
While my wife was about to give birth to our beautiful first child.
He didn't
running around your house.
You remember that, Pat.
So, but there was no excuse. Zack Ryder couldn't have been here.
That's true.
So
he was busy buying action figures.
Right.
He might have been booked, and I definitely wasn't booked at the time. So.
I think he was putting Nair on his back and fake tanning and buying action figures online. That's my story.
Hey,
I'm sticking to it.
Can we switch subjects for a little bit since Broski's not here?
Sure.
Yeah.
I want to ask Jay, since I wasn't there. I don't think I've ever asked you this. How blown up was Zack in that ECW title match the first time you guys worked?
He was so blown up. So he he had been off for a couple months, and he came back, and we were on ECW, and we had a lot of time for the main matches.
Maybe 3 segs, right?
It was a good 18 to 20 minutes.
Yeah,
that we were out there, and he was just blown sky high at the end. He was just like, like if he could have taken a one of those masks with oxygen in it, he would have done it. But he made it through. To his credit.
I'm in FW at the time, so obviously I'm a little salty, but I'm watching that at home, and I just remember there's a spot at the end where he's got to go corner to corner, and his legs are not even working.
Yeah, he's just almost walking,
full of lactic acid.
It was a good match though. I'll give it to him.
His selling is just it's not pro wrestling selling. It's kill me now selling on his face.
And Jay, for those that don't know, Jay's gas tank is never ending.
Yeah.
So
Jay is one of those guys that just it didn't seem like blowing up was an option.
No. I think it wasn't. I don't know. I crazy weird ring cardio that was kind of one of the fun things. I like to blow people up sometimes. It was a lot of fun, and especially was to guys like him that he felt like he had a point to prove, and he was trying to he grinded it out at the end. But
that was a big moment for him. So he really you guys had to do some stuff. He had to prove himself.
Yeah, and then a couple months later, I worked him again. I said, "Look, kid, I'm going to give you the reins here. I'm going to give you a couple hours. Come up with some ideas. Get back with me. I don't want to have to put all these things together myself. come up with some stuff. Tell me what you got, and we'll fit it in. And so I go eat, do whatever it was I was going to do, you know, take care of Christian business, you know. I come back in a couple hours. I'm like, all right, kid, so what do you got? He looks me straight in the face and goes, Tiger Bomb. And I went, what? He's like, Tiger Bomb. I was like, that's all you got in like 2.5 hours? And he's like, you know, he does that awkward, weird laugh. I was like, all right, that's all he had.
Oh man!
Weirdo.
To his credit, when they broke us up, they like blindsided both of us. So like we were not expecting it at all. Which to the point where like at least he knew he wanted to be the, you know, Guido fist bumping guy, and I had nothing. Yeah. I didn't know. It was so far from my mind. I was just like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like I have no idea. I wasn't expecting it.
Well, you know, initially and this has nothing to do with you guys, but it just, you saying that brought this to mind. I remember when they broke up the Brood.
Yeah.
Them coming, I think it was Terry Taylor.
Yeah.
Came up to the three of us, to Gangrel, Jay, and myself, and said, babyface, heel, we're not sure.
Oh my God.
And we're like, what? And we didn't even know. And then he kind of laughed and kept walking. And we're like, what the hell was that?
And Jay was the we're not sure. And it's like, what does that mean? Like, and we had a T-shirt. Our second T-shirt came out that day.
Yeah.
And it was like, and we're breaking up.
Yeah, and
okay.
I get what you mean there. It's a scary feeling because you get that familiarity.
That word.
I screwed it up last week too. The familiarity.
Yeah, I don't know. People don't realize that it kind of happens like that sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a comfort level of having somebody to work off of, and you're gaining confidence or gaining experience together, and as a team, that makes it makes it easier. And yeah, we weren't expecting that when we got that news. And, you know, I was kind of felt like at that point, too, I had never done a promo on TV. I had no real character development. And I was like, oh, man, if I'm not in this, then what am I going to do? And luckily for me, it morphed into the Edge and Christian thing. I don't even know how that happened. But, you know, that kind of, you know, worked out for me, even though there were those nerves of splitting away.
Yeah.
So after they split you guys up, you know, how did you feel? Like you said, nervous, but then I know your mind is always churning on stuff.
So what the real shitty part was, I stopped getting travel like almost immediately. So I called Johnny after like 2 weeks of that and said, I can't just sit home, be forgotten about, and eventually fired. Like I'll you know, I'm 23, 24. I was like, I'll move to Florida. I'll join FCW. I will be the best effing guy down there, and I'll wrestle anyone you have signed. He's like, well, kid, we don't think you're a bad worker. We just have nothing for you. Like, so we're not sending you there. I said, well, I'm sending myself. I'll go. I need to be like seen. I need to be in your radar. So I did that. And I actually, I moved on my own money to FCW. I didn't get paid for it because I wasn't a member of FCW. So I basically lived off my Edgehead run money, brother, for a year. Because no checks were coming in. And, basically proved myself and worked all the way back to the roster in about exactly a year. I want to say it was like May 2009 to May 2010.
And then I remember that happened because I was living down there then, and I just thought.
Oh yeah, because you got hurt, and we actually wound up spending a lot of time together.
Yeah, and I just remember thinking to myself, like, who else would? There's not many people anyway that would, out of their own pocket, go, okay, well, I want to keep working and I want to keep being seen, so I'm going to go down. Put myself in the developmental territory after I've been involved doing run-ins in main events for, you know, WrestleMania. I don't know of many.
You know,
other
I look
people
back on it now; it's a total blessing in disguise. You know, I just thought of this as you guys were telling that last story. At the time they broke Zach and I up, I mean, neither one of us had ever done promos like on our own, like Jay said. We had never done that, and man, I'm not kidding. Each of us probably had less than like 7 or 8 singles matches to our name when they broke us up after that whole run. So it was kind of an awesome thing to happen to me looking back on it now, you know?
Yeah, man, that I can't.
And I got 4 more years of being on the main roster out of it.
Good on you, buddy. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean that as a compliment when I say I don't know many people that would do that. I mean that as like, that's some stick-to-itiveness. That's some gumption. Well, but it's also the same, and I want to get this word in there too, it's the same chutzpah that caused you to send me that email too. Yeah, I got in chutzpah. Yeah. And in regard to you?
Yeah, it's too tenacious for my own good sometimes, I guess. I don't know.
So fast forward all these years, you leave for a while. I know you were frustrated because it can be a frustrating business, and we've continued discussions through the years, and I've tried to like be a sounding board for you in terms of like the kind of inner workings of how this thing can be. And I know that, we've both talked about how, having kids, having daughters in particular, like we do, is like, that's what it's, okay, that nothing else, not that nothing else matters, but that's what everything else wraps around is having our kids. So how's it feel to be a dad?
It's just, it's one of those things, like, obviously, like, I text you and give you updates, but until it really happens, you don't understand how you're going to feel and just how much it's really going to change your life forever. And, it just really has. The only like kind of sad part is like, I've been traveling wrestling for over 13 years now, and my wife is the best. We have a wonderful relationship. We never ever fight. She doesn't bust my balls. She's just super cool and understanding that, I'm involved in a very crazy business and things like that. And when I'm away from her, I miss her, but I'm not, I don't know, I'm not miserable. I can honestly say now traveling, I miss my daughter dearly. So, that's been the biggest change and the hardest change. But I mean, it's got me even more focused to just, be good at what I'm doing and, provide and, get home safe and sound and spend as much time as I can with her. So it's just so incredibly life-changing.
And, with your partner, with your wife, it's, that they get it and they understand it. But with your daughter, they're still, trying to grasp these things, and like, now I get the Dada, you're not leaving again, are you? And it's like, oh, or I don't want you to leave again, or I love it when you're home, Dada. And I mean, it's gut wrenching. It's part of maintaining a sense of self, but it gets hard. It's almost impossible to leave them, but you realize that
and I know when
you got to as well.
She's only 6 months right now, and she's just gonna, become a person that's actively talking to me and understanding. I think it's, and from what I hear from the other guys and you, it's just only gonna get a little tougher. So I gotta be strong and just know that that's ahead.
Well, wait till you take her to TV and PS.
Oh, I took her to Raw over the summer. She was only like 3 months.
Did she meet Michael Hayes?
She met everybody, probably everyone but Vince. I'd say at least saw her and said hi. So
I'll tell you a story.
I wasn't gonna wheel her into the office, but
I'll tell you a funny Michael Hayes story. So I took my my daughter to the arena in Tampa. I was doing the pre-show panel for a pay-per-view there, and I was standing there talking to somebody, and she was an infant at the time, in her little stroller, just laying there sleeping, and I'm talking to somebody. I see this presence out of the side of my eye, and I turn around, and Michael Hayes is standing over the stroller, and he's looking down, and he put his fingers out. He does the four-knuckle nabes.
Baby nabes.
And he's like, nabes. And I was like, did you? And I looked at him, I was like, did you just baby nabes my daughter? And he's like, and he does this, here we go. He didn't do that, but I added that. But I was like, dude, you just baby nabes my daughter. And he thought, and he kind of, and he's just, awesomely awkward and kind of laughed, and he was in his great suit.
Who I will tell you is the greatest babysitter at TV is Pat Patterson.
Oh, Pat's great.
Jesus.
He is so amazing with kids. It's incredible. Like he's a baby whisperer. It's
the first thing I thought of where that Michael Hayes story is, what was he wearing? Because babies are so stimulated by bright colors and stuff.
Yeah, maybe she thought he was the Cookie Monster.
Yeah, I can only imagine what kind of neon suit and guess he had
purple suit. Yeah.
Grimace,
Elmo, or something. Oh, he's too big to be Elmo.
Yeah. So what that we're talking about kids.
Yeah.
We're talking about
everything.
Look at us.
Oh man, we Barry Broski a little bit. We got kid talking there.
Yeah.
Good episode.
Good times. Good times.
Well, speaking of kids, I guess we should probably let you get back to your daughter.
Yeah, I'm almost home here.
Okay. Well, also, for those that don't know, and no one would know this besides Brian and I, we also text each other song recommendations, and they all center around having a baby daughter. So he said it'd be like Ben Folds 5 songs, and I've said it like Avett Brothers songs. So when we're both lonely, I'm over in Ireland and you're on the road, we both know that we have a network built in to be able to send sad texts to each other.
It's right, dude.
Sad
man,
yet supportive.
Cutting me up, man. Especially if I'm flying, man. I gotta like stop myself and not do it.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, because the dude sitting beside you will be like, "What is this? Is this like?"
I didn't even know this till recently. Someone said when you're flying, you're more like it's easier to cry.
Emotional? Huh.
Really? That makes sense because I always throw music on and look out that damn window and think, "I wonder."
You get
what they're
really
doing
emotional.
right now.
Someone told me it's something about like the air pressure or the altitude. I don't know. That makes crying like easier to happen. I don't know. Someone just told me that. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm starting to think it's real. Yeah.
Yeah, it crushes a water bottle, so it's probably doing some stuff to our brains.
Well, let me know next time, and I will send you a horse face text. I'll just
thanks.
Horse face. Yeah, I called him horse face, so that's where that came from.
And then you can send them a story.
You want to explain that one a little bit?
I don't remember how it went, so you can explain it.
What I think happened, you were like, you just came up to me at TV, like, and were like, "You look like a horse. I'm going to call you horse face." And I was like, "I think you look like a horse. I'm going to call you horse face." And then we just left it at that, and then we stayed to each other for years.
Yeah, they're probably just random. Like we've talked about it tons of times on this stuff, just random stuff to entertain yourself on the road. So,
I think you were sad because you and MVP were putting me in Archer over that day.
I don't remember that.
It happened.
What the hell was I going to say? Oh, so I had something I was going to say, and it's gone.
Yeah,
right out of my brain.
About the songs?
Oh, I don't think it was.
About the dad songs?
Well, there is a good. I sent you Imelda May, right? Little Pixie.
The one that. What's the one that's been really messing me up? I can't even listen to it. Because it goes, "I gotta take to the skies."
That's Avett Brothers, Father's First
Yeah,
Spring.
that one. Woof,
that one will get you, man.
Really cuts me deep, man.
Yeah. That one will get you. And then it's Imelda May. She's an Irish singer, and she has a song called Little Pixie. And every time I'm just like, oh.
Well, I can say this is another, like, edgehead storyline come to real life. My wife and I didn't find out the sex. Because my wife just thought it would be a fun thing to do, and it didn't really bother me. I said, okay, sounds like fun. So obviously, like I would assume, like any other male, I wanted like a little doppelganger of me. You know, I wanted a boy so bad, and I made it up in my mind like, there's no way this isn't a boy. Like I was trying to I told myself that like the secret style, like definitely a boy. There's no way anything. I mean, so whatever. Lo and behold, like Mackenzie comes out and the doctor spins around. He's a girl, and like I wish there was some kind of recording of my face. I am like speechless, like could not believe it. But then when I obviously I love everyone life itself now, but like I thought to myself, you know what? Adam has 2 daughters, and he's always been my hero. So there's nothing wrong with having a daughter. This will be awesome. Not that
I have a daughter too.
Being upset that it was a girl lasted. Yeah, but you're Zach's favorite, not mine.
Oh, that's true.
So that guy's having kids. But yeah, and I remember telling you how awesome and that
you did.
Word
that was like one of the first texts I got. You said, "Yeah, having a daughter is really fun. You'll see soon." You couldn't have been more correct.
Yeah, and I realize like now. I don't think I would have been anywhere near the dad that I feel like I am, and you're always trying to be a better dad.
Yeah.
But I'm so wired toward having little girls. Like I think, okay, that's why I was put here. It was to be a father.
I'm a everything happens for a reason guy.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that. So.
Yeah, I was the same way. I in my mind, I had it like this whole idea that I was going to have a son and, teach him how to skate, teach him how to throw a baseball, like do all these things that I did as a kid. And then when I found out it was a girl, I wasn't disappointed, but I was surprised. And now I can't even imagine not having a girl. That
Yeah,
girl,
you can't even imagine it, right?
I can't even imagine it. It's just the best. She's just amazing. It's hard work being a dad, but it's also very, very rewarding. But yeah.
Yeah, it's the best job you'll ever have, though, right?
Yeah,
it is, and I know you got to get back to it. And we have
Jay
is
it is
here
officially
in the
almost
mountains with
bottle
me.
time here, so.
All right, so you go. You got to get back to work. We got to get back to work. We got the three little girls coming for Jim.
Thank you for having me on, guys. Adam, I love you. I'm forever in debt to you. And Jay, I know I bust your balls, but you're someone that Broski and I obviously idolize as well, and we looked up to. So appreciate everything you guys have done for me throughout the years.
Yeah. Okay, and Create a Pro, January 20th. January 20th.
Come meet Christian. He's signing autographs. There's going to be a lot of
he'll be there.
Yep, something that Edge wouldn't do for you, but I'm there for you, brother. I got your back. All right, man. Thanks for talking.
See you, bro.
Take care.
That was a good conversation. Obviously, the point here is that, like Wayne Gretzky said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And they took a big shot, right? And I'm not gonna lie, he hurt me a little bit when he said that he wasn't my favorite. That you were his favorite.
Yeah, and carved you deep.
Yeah, it hurt me. That's why I'm not gonna rocket strap him, and his streak will continue.
Well, I rocket strap already.
You didn't know that I removed the rocket powers from you before we did this podcast.
Well,
I knew I couldn't trust him.
He was still involved in the main event of WrestleMania, so he's already been strapped.
Well, I took the strap back.
Okay.
Yeah. You can be unstrapped just as quickly as you can be strapped.
Really?
Let's make that a point right now.
Okay. All right.
And so I figured, you know what? He said on more than one occasion in that talk that I was Zack's favorite wrestlers. I feel like we should give him another chance. What do you think?
You want to
strap
the Rough Rider?
Yeah, I want to give him another chance.
All right.
To have a little bit of this conversation and get his edge head experience out there, brother.
Spit it out. Okay, fine. Let's give him a shot. Let's give him one last shot.
Hello.
Kid.
Yo.
What are you doing? Where are you?
I'm at the gym.
You're at the gym, or you were at the gym? I'm a little confused.
I didn't know it was you guys before.
Oh.
Then you thought you were getting prank called, and you hung up. Well, you've been complaining for all this time that you want to be on ENC's Pot of Awesomeness. We were calling to not ambush you, but surprise you. It's the Christmas season. It's the season of giving. We wanted to have you on the podcast as our surprise to you, and you hung up on us, and we couldn't get you back.
Big league.
Your girlfriend tried to help set the whole thing up. She did a great job.
We just got a big argument about it.
You did.
Oh, and now you're yelling at your girlfriend for it.
Well, we had a little argument. So Chelsea, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
So now, not only did you big league us, now not only did we just have an hour-long conversation with Hawkins, now you've gotten in an argument with your girlfriend over it.
Yeah, we got an argument.
Oh.
Look what you did.
It's your fault. I'm blaming you.
Oh.
You're the recurring theme there, buddy. You got to be able to look in the mirror every once in a while.
Yeah,
I'm blaming you.
Well, I'm at the gym. I'm looking at a lot of mirrors. I look very good. I don't even have a full pump yet, but I still look great.
What are you working today?
Well, it was back, and then we got in an argument. She left the gym. I left the gym. Now I'm back in the gym. Now you guys called. Now I stopped my workout.
Wait, so
hold on a second here.
What exactly did you do to cause an argument for her to leave the gym? Because as far as I know, from what the Birdman tells me, she's a very, very nice lady.
Oh, she's the best. I'm definitely going to pop the question one day. But what happened was you guys called.
Ooh.
I thought it was like a prank call, so I hung up. And then you guys called back. I said, I'm not fucking picking that up. And then she's like, no, pick it up. I'm like, why should I pick it up? We had a whole argument about it. So then I went in the gym. And then she's like, can you meet me in the front? I'll tell you what that was about. I'm like, oh, I'm doing deadlift, so no thanks.
Wow.
Oh.
So you are the dick here.
Oh.
It's you. It's not her. I'm standing up for her.
Yeah.
You know what? Hey, you know what? Here's what I think we should do. My dog's barking. My dog's hot at you right now. I think we should have Chelsea on the show.
I think we should.
I think we should have her on the show. Yeah, and
can we call her?
We should do We should do an intervention here. We should fix
Yeah,
this.
we should. You should call her.
Should we fix it on the NC's Pot of Awesomeness? Should we fix this?
It could get awkward. Hopi, be quiet. I got to get my dog. You figure this out.
All right. You know what?
A live intervention?
Matt, I need Mega Matt. I have a question for you.
Yo,
Do we have 2 phone lines?
we can. I would just need about 5 minutes or so. We can get 2 phone lines.
What do you think? Yeah,
I think we gotta
I don't
do
think
it.
we have time. I don't think we have time.
No, you know what?
Right
I think maybe we get Chelsea on the show, and I think now you had to do your deadlift, so maybe we just end this right now.
I pushed hard to have you on because
He was putting you over. Like Hawkins was sitting there saying, I was his favorite and everything, and he put you over. He said, yeah, but Ryder's favorite was Christian and still is, and all
I
of
love
these
you
things.
guys
So then
equally,
Jay was
guys.
like,
You know
let's
that.
give him a shot.
and he blew up in your ECW match. Come on, I'm trying to stand up for you here, and you're making this hard for me. You're making it real hard, even though you saved my family's life.
I did. I saved everybody in the cats.
Yeah, but I don't know. You're making it real hard on us right now, Zach. Zachy boy.
Well, I wish I would have known you guys were calling. Then I would have picked up.
Yeah.
Hello?
You
It's
can't
all right. I know you guys were
Hello?
trying to surprise me, so I'm sorry.
Hello?
What?
Hello?
What?
I think we lost him.
We lost him. We lost him by accident.
Yeah.
But I tell you what.
What?
Chelsea's getting on this show.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. And she's getting a full talk.
Yeah.
She's getting the full interview.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to say because I obviously met her when we my family seeked refuge at the RYDER residence.
Yeah.
The Rough Rider residence, brother.
The Rough Rider Mansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Rough Rider starter home. But it was no, it's a nice house. It is. It's a great starter home.
I'm just joking.
And but the thing is she was there, and I'm telling you right now, she is one of the coolest people I've ever met.
She's too good for him.
She's too good for him.
She's too good for
Yeah.
him. Chelsea, if you're listening, and I'm sure Ryder will be listening and crying into his grilled chicken and or his ground beef, and we want to get you on the show.
Yeah.
Not him though.
No.
We want to give you the full interview treatment. He's not getting it. That's it. That was his shot, Bird, and I told you. I told you, didn't I?
Yeah.
You championed for him.
I did.
And I was like, And what did he say? He admitted, I was busy doing deadlifts.
Jeez.
Yeah. There you go.
It hasn't helped him yet. Just kidding.
No.
He's a good kid.
He's a great guy.
Feel bad it didn't work out.
Yeah, we would have talked about all the great moments that he's had, Intercontinental
maybe
Championship,
maybe
WrestleMania, ladder match, But hey, guess what? He also said that Razor Ramon was his favorite at that WrestleMania.
Oh, really?
So I think he's just a fly-by-nighter.
Well, I also think that
he doesn't deserve to be rocket strapped because he's a fly-by-nighter.
Are you taking back his strap?
I just took back
you
his strap.
unstrapped Ryder?
I just unstrapped Ryder.
Oh man!
And I strapped him with the fly-by-nighter tag.
Huh. Well, maybe if we ever do an episode on action figures, we'll have him back.
Yeah.
I guess we should go.
Well, yeah, but real quick, I want to talk about Hawkins though. The fact that him and Ryder both lifelong wrestling fans. Glad I could be any small part for them to be able to see a bigger picture within the industry because they're great guys. Very happy that that he's a dad and he's seeing what fatherhood is, and it's interesting. You guys were both talking about how you pictured having little doppelgangers. I never pictured anything.
Yeah,
I just pictured.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't know what to picture.
I just had it in my head that it was going to be a boy.
Yeah,
and just like I said, doing the things that my dad did with me when I was a kid, and I just had that image in my mind. That's the way it was going to be, but as soon as we found out the sex beforehand, and as soon as in my head I was going, it's a boy, and they said, oh, you're having a little girl, and I went, of course it's a girl, and from that moment on, I was all about a girl, and like I said,
and it sounds like that's what most men think.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I just never did.
Yeah.
I never really pictured any
Yeah.
I didn't attach
I didn't feel one way or another.
Yeah.
I didn't say no. I want a boy. I didn't feel strongly one way or another. I was just convinced that I was having a boy.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
There you have it.
So
there you have it.
Yeah.
Well, hosers, we had a little bit of ZACK RYDER on the show.
Yeah.
That's all he's getting now.
Yeah.
That's it.
I feel like we should even cut that part out.
He's done. You know I like giving him a little tease, just a little taste, and that's all he's getting.
Oh, ZACK RYDER, you really messed up your chance, brother. Oh, we're gonna give your airtime to one Paul Smackage. He's gonna come in here and talk about all of his roll-ups, all of him getting his feet up on the ropes for his
ZACK
small
baby,
back.
you're gonna eat a bionic elbow. You're gonna eat a bionic elbow. No, that wasn't very good. ZACK baby, you're gonna eat the big elbow drop, and then I'm gonna what else am I gonna hit you with a bull rope, and that's it for you.
And then maybe Paul Smackage calls out one Krusty Rhodes, the younger sibling of the legendary American Dream Dusty Rhodes. That's a feud in the making, brother. That's a headliner in any arena anywhere in the country. Oh, we'll see you next week, hosers.
That was my worst Dusty yet. I gotta keep practicing. When I don't keep going.